Hello, and welcome to episode 71 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm a little sad. The Bills lost, so they're not going to the Super Bowl.
I'm sorry.
But, you know.
And this pretty much ends your football fascination for the year?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, it really doesn't affect me in any way.
No.
It always used to kind of make me chuckle a little when some of the guys I worked with, if their team lost over the weekend, they would be just in the worst of moods.
Right.
On that Monday. And I'd be, what's wrong? Oh, so-and-so, whatever team lost their sports ball game. And I'm
their sports ball game.
Anyway. So that's that.
Well, I'm glad it's not having a huge effect on your mood.
It doesn't really affect my life in one bit. Okay. I mean, it would have been nice to see the Bills go to the Super Bowl.
For sure.
But that's that.
Yeah. So not this time around.
No, not this time around. So what have we been up to lately? We been up to anything fun?
Well, I mean, we did spend this weekend with my folks.
We did?
Yes. I had some work to do down in my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
I was making a piece of choreography for some of the young dancers at my home studio. Mm-hmm. And so Christine made the trip with me. And on our way down to Newcastle, we took a quick stop in Erie so I could do a little bit of yarn shopping.
Because you can't have enough yarn.
Well, no, that's not true.
Yarn.
You can have enough yarn. You can have too much yarn. But the thing is, I had a coupon.
Oh, well, yeah, you got to use the coupon.
For 20% off.
Yeah.
And so when I went into the Michaels, it turned out that yarn was buy 3, get 1 free.
Well, there you go.
You know, and then my 20% off coupon applied to some of it. And so, you know, hey, I had to.
Yeah, you did.
I just had to.
You had to.
But I got some really great new yarn, and I let my mom pick the yarn that I was going to start a new scarf with.
Yeah.
Which is now done. And it's the first scarf that I have done some beaded fringe on.
It's really cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
I really like it. Yeah. So this is going to become a thing with some of the lighter weight scarves, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Won't work for the big bulky ones, but.
Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah. And also when we were down there, we celebrated your dad's, 73rd birthday?
73rd birthday.
Yeah. So that was fun. We went out to dinner with the fam, and guess where we ended up?
Mad Max.
We were going someplace else, but we
were going to go to Firebirds.
Right.
And then they didn't have seating until like 8:45. And then we were thinking about a place called the Juniper Grill, but they didn't have seating until 8.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided to go to a different part of town and checked at Ichiban, which is a Japanese hibachi place. But the wait there was 40 minutes, and we had to get Lucy to a birthday party of one of her friends, a sleepover that she was going to. So time was of the essence. And so it just turned out that Mad Max, which was right next to Ichiban, had a table available for us.
So we ended up in Mad Max again.
Yes. And actually at the very same table we were at when we last went to Mad Max with the family after Lucy's performance of Newsies.
That's correct. It's apparently our table now.
Yeah.
I got the tofu tacos, nothing new there. Sam got the bowl she usually gets. We've talked ad nauseum about Mad Max.
We're not going to go into the whole Mad Max thing again.
Yeah, but if you're near a Mad Max, definitely check them out. They have a huge amount of vegan options.
Yes, they are fabulous. And of course, you know, my roasted veggie bowl made it for a second meal this afternoon, so that was pretty great too.
That was.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? We have a recipe this week.
Yeah, we do.
You want to talk about that? Let's talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about that.
All right.
So this week's recipe...
Well, wait. I have to intro it.
Oh, excuse me. My apologies. I'll back off.
So here's this week's recipe from our vegan cookbook challenge.
So anyway, this week's recipe, Christine made the quinoa walnut wraps, and this is from the Healthy Vegan Happy Body Cooking by Tess Challis.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did I get that title correct?
Yeah, Tess Challis. Yeah, Healthy Vegan Happy Body.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah. And this was interesting. This is a wrap.
Hence the name quinoa walnut wrap.
Yeah, and it's an interesting method. It's kind of a take on like the lentil walnut thing.
Well, that's the thing. I know when I tasted it, it immediately kind of sent me to the lentil walnut burger that we get at the Co-op in Erie.
At the Co-op? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't have quite the same texture. It was a little crunchier,
That's the
actually.
thing. Yeah, what you do with is with the quinoa and the walnuts, you put it into a food processor, you process it a little bit. Then you spread it out onto a baking sheet and you bake it until it's a little crispy. And so the texture is definitely a different thing. It breaks up and it does almost give you kind of maybe a steak-ish, if that's a word.
Yeah.
Texture.
Yeah, it really did. I enjoyed this thoroughly, I have to say.
It was good.
I really liked it. And there was a wonderful sauce.
Yeah.
I don't know what the sauce was. What was
There's
the
actually
sauce?
2 sauces.
Oh, okay.
Which are also in this book. A chipotle cream sauce and a cheese sauce.
Oh, okay. And so they're both on this wrap.
Yep.
Okay.
And so I thought that was interesting with the 2 sauces. And then you just, even in the recipe, she says, and then just use whatever vegetables you would like on like a garden wrap or something like that. So what did I use? I used cucumber. I used
always cucumber, and there were definitely some greens in there. Radish.
I used lettuce, carrots. Just a lot of things, textural stuff.
A lot of crunchy stuff. Yeah.
So it was good. It was a nice light meal, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was awesome. I enjoyed this thoroughly.
Yeah.
So I would 100% recommend that you check out the quinoa walnut wraps from Healthy Vegan Happy Body by Tess Challis.
Hey, here's some cool news.
Bring it on.
You know Moby, the musician Moby?
Not personally.
No, neither do I. He's coming out with a movie. It actually premiered on the 20th of January.
Yes.
It's called A Punk Rock Vegan.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And the really cool thing about it, one really cool thing about it is it's focusing on punk music in the vegan movement.
Yeah.
Another cool thing about it is that after the premiere and they run it at this festival, the Slam Dance Festival, they're going to make the film free for viewing after January 30th.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So awesome. Go Moby. Yeah. As he said, that after it makes its world premiere at Slam Dance, it's yours. It's his goal to give the movie away, and he feels he can't in good conscience try to profit from what is essentially a labor of love and activism. So, yeah, go Moby.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome. So look for that. You can check it out, like I said, after the 30th of January at the Slam Dance website.
But after January 30th, it will also be available on YouTube.
Oh, will it? I didn't catch that.
Yeah. It's right here in your notes.
Guess I didn't check my notes thoroughly enough.
Yeah, so check it out on YouTube. And while we're on the subject of YouTube, and I know that I'm going off.
You going rogue?
I'm going a little bit rogue here.
That's cool.
But I recently did kind of a dive into YouTube to find some of the newer vegan documentaries or podcast episodes that have come out recently. Okay. And I found a few really wonderful ones. One is a documentary by Endeavor, that's spelled ENDEVR, and it is how ultra-processed food is slowly killing us. So it's not specifically vegan focused, but it is looking at processed food in general.
Interesting.
If you saw the first iteration of Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead back in the day, I can't remember when the original was released.
I don't know.
But very recently, a Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead 2 has been released.
Oh, missed opportunity to call it Fat, Sick, and Dead Again, or Nearly Dead Again.
Okay, yes, I agree. Missed opportunity.
Yeah. Sorry
You're
for interrupting.
Totally right. Yes. But that is also available on YouTube. There have been some really interesting episodes of different podcasts and, YouTube channels. The Plant Chompers, which is a new...
Plant Chompers.
Plant Chompers.
Is it a food YouTube?
Yes. And this particular episode talks about which diet is best for cognitive power and preventing Alzheimer's.
Oh.
And so they are taking a look at plant-based nutrition in that sense. Another vegan documentary I can totally recommend is The Invisible Vegan, which is about changing the diet in the African-American community. That is also available on YouTube. T. Colin Campbell has a new conversation on the Rich Roll podcast. I love Rich Roll. Mm-hmm. And so Rich Roll interviews T. Colin Campbell about how plant-based nutrition can prevent and reverse disease. Always a good thing to check out. There's a new 23 health tips for vegans by Dr. Neil Barnard and Carly Bodrug at the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. We also have Simon Hill proving the merits of a plant-based diet on the Rich Roll podcast. And last but not least, we have a version of Michael Greger's How Not to Diet. Okay, so we've talked before about his book and cookbook, mm-hmm. How Not to Die. Mm-hmm. The sequel to that was How Not to Diet. Okay, so this is for people especially who are perhaps fighting diabetes or who, for other medical reasons, need to lose some weight. And so that that documentary... Oh, wait, no, it is a podcast. This is also a Rich Roll episode. Go Rich Roll.
Yeah.
Seriously with the Rich Roll. But it's Tactics for Sustained Weight Loss by Dr. Michael Greger.
Oh, okay. So those are some good tips for those of you that are, starting the new year and wanting to eat healthier or be healthier or lose weight or any of that jazz. Yeah. So yeah, all kinds of great stuff out there. So that was my deep dive for you. Oh, cool. Thanks for adding that in.
Anytime. My pleasure.
Hey, I wanted to talk about, have you seen these ads? They're billboard ads that are running in and around the London area.
Well, we haven't been to London for a while. So
no, but have you seen them online at all?
I have not.
They are, of course, pro-vegan, anti-dairy, anti-meat mm-hmm. ads that are being run by an organization, which is actually an Irish organization
Woohoo.
That's been doing this, I think it's since 2015.
Yes, 2015.
And the name of the organization is Go Vegan World. And they're running these ads in association with Eden Farmed Animal Sanctuary in Ireland. And these ads are really, really kind of impactful, I think.
So give me a for example, since I haven't seen them. So,
yeah, well, they're just dairy kills babies, I think is one. And it just mm-hmm. shows a mother cow and a calf mm-hmm. and with very kind of impactful fonts and stuff. Uh-huh. Check it out. I
definitely will.
But what I wanted to ask is, do you think those ads are actually do any good?
I would not be at all surprised if they did.
Yeah.
I know I notice billboards.
Yeah.
If I'm driving down the road or...
Oh, and these are also up in the tube, London subway system.
Yeah.
And you spend a lot of time standing and staring at what's on the walls
Absolutely.
In the tube. So I think that's good placement
I still remember what was on the walls of the tube last time we went to London.
Oh, the Jameson ads?
Well, there were Jameson ads, and then there was, the go to Barcelona for 69 pounds.
Oh, right.
And, I still remember all of that. So, yeah, the time spent, in the tube or seeing billboards when you're out on the road. Yes, I think that can be very impactful. I think that can be really useful. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I recall seeing a statistic that 96% of people who live or work within a mile of a billboard will see that sign. So that's just with one placed alongside a road. Additionally, billboards are often seen by people who are in a car or on a bus, or they are posted in, of course, public transport, mm-hmm. Trains, the tube, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it really could help the vegan movement.
Yeah.
By raising awareness in a very, very simple and kind of passive way.
Yeah, passive, yes, but they don't pull any punches with these ads. I'll read you what some of them say. Mm-hmm. This one has a picture of a turkey, and it says, "They trust us, we butcher them."
Nice.
The one with the calf and the mama cow actually says, "Dairy takes babies from their mothers."
Okay.
There's one with the chicken that says, "Humane eggs are a myth. Don't buy it." Mm-hmm. This one says, "A terrified child is dying for your dinner," with a picture of a lamb.
Oh, ouch.
So they're not pulling any punches. This one was on a subway stop somewhere in London with a picture of a pig, and it says, "Living vegan equals respecting everyone's right not to be owned, used, or killed, regardless of species."
Beautiful. I love that. And I really do appreciate just the incredibly straightforward messaging that they're using on these signs. But I think what I meant by kind of passive outreach is that these are things that people are just going to be passing by.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know, that they're just going to be passing by. You're not lecturing at anybody. You're not, they're not getting hooked into an hour and a half documentary or whatever it is. It's just those moments that they're passing the sign. And if, of course, the imagery is strong and the message is strong, they'll take notice of it. And so it just sticks in the back of their heads, that message that they saw. And maybe, just maybe, after seeing it enough times, that messaging will make them consider making some changes or doing more research.
Yeah.
Or finding out what that is all about.
Yeah. I think their tactics are good. I think putting them in the subway, in the tube, on tube stops, on bus stops, in buses. Mm-hmm. You know how they have the placards in buses? Because you're sitting there and, unless you have a book or your phone out, which 90% of the people on a bus will be looking at their phone.
Sure.
But if you don't have your phone out, you're probably going to read the ads that are up. It's good placement anyway, I think so.
Oh, even if I do have a phone, and I know I'm like one of the least likely people to have my phone out at any given time.
Right.
But if I'm in an area where there is advertising, I will generally read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No matter where that is, if it's on public transportation, if it's in like a waiting room or whatever it is, I will generally read whatever material is around me. So given that, I think that this can be a very effective way of advertising and of putting forward the mission of the movement. Another good thing to remember with billboard advertising is that it is incredibly cost effective. In terms of reaching large numbers of people, billboards can be incredibly cost effective because the cost per 1,000 impressions is typically quite a bit lower than other forms of traditional advertising, print media, video media, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
okay.
I think it's great.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's a downside to it, for sure.
No, definitely not. I mean, who loses? Nobody. Yeah. Now, just to give you a little bit more information about Go Vegan World, Go Vegan World is an international animal rights and advocacy organization established as a not-for-profit. It is founded on the notion that everyone has the fundamental right not to be owned, bred, used, harmed, or killed, regardless of species. Go Vegan World is a public educational advertising campaign that exists to educate the public about animal rights, promote veganism, and challenge the legal status of other animals as human property. It is animal-focused in nature and seeks complete cessation of animal use by humans. It is the first of its kind in Europe, and it was launched in Ireland in 2015, with the UK following suit in 2016. They have since been active in Canada, and they also maintain a constant presence on social media.
Yeah, so check them out. It's Go World Vegan.
No, Go Vegan World.
Go Vegan World. My
there you go.
Dyslexia is kicking in. It's right in front of me.
It's all good. Yep.
Yeah.
So Go Vegan World.
Yeah.
So check them out.
Before Sam gives us one of her 72 reasons to be vegan, I wanted to let everybody know that might be interested. I am working on a sticker and a button that says Proud Guardian Reading Tofu Eating
Wokerati.
Wokerati.
Nice.
So, Yeah, so look for those on our website in the future, and definitely if we're out and about vending stuff, you'll find them.
And if you are interested in knowing where we will next be vending, we will be at the vegan pop-up market at the Vegan Center in Tonawanda on Saturday, February 11th.
Yeah, let's hope the weather cooperates this time.
Yes, very much hoping.
All right, so what is our reason of the week to be vegan?
Okay, so the reason of the week is something that I think does not get talked enough about in the vegan movement. And so this week I have reason number 33, which is working at a slaughterhouse is hell. It's really easy in the vegan movement, I think, to talk about the obvious cruelty that is inflicted upon animals through animal agriculture. And it's very easy to talk about the environmental impact that animal agriculture has on the world. But I think part of the conversation that gets missed sometimes is how traumatic working in a slaughterhouse is for the people who do it.
Yeah.
That many of them, first of all, are unskilled workers, or they are immigrants, or they are people from low-income areas where there are not a lot of job opportunities.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Often these slaughterhouses are in areas that have no job opportunities.
Exactly. And so it's like the only game in town. And so people who are already disadvantaged are, in an odd way, almost forced into working in these terrible conditions if they want to make a living. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing about it is also because of the incredibly violent nature of the work that is done, most slaughterhouse workers only last about 6 months. The turnover for slaughterhouse workers is over 100%.
Yeah, I believe that.
Per year. And so I'm not going to read all of the things that slaughterhouse workers are asked to do, but I am, because it's
too horrific.
It's too horrific, honestly. But I am going to mention just a couple. So job opportunity postings for a slaughterhouse worker, okay? Tasks, expectations, and responsibilities include the following: remove bones and cut meat into standard cuts in preparation for marketing. Sever jugular veins to drain blood and facilitate slaughter. Tend to assembly lines, performing a few of the many cuts needed to process a carcass. Just the idea that these animals are being referred to not as even animals anymore.
Oh, well, yeah.
But just a carcass is kind of horrific. You know, the idea that they will have to shackle the animals, stun them, shave, singe, or defeather them, saw, split, or scribe carcasses. Like, I'm getting nauseous just reading this.
Yeah.
Honestly. And so the idea that those who buy into animal agriculture, those who eat meat, are not only condemning the animals they consume to a life of misery and, of course, eventual slaughter, but the people who are employed to conduct that work are also being traumatized and victimized, and, you know,
yeah,
it's just hideous.
There was recently some undercover video released that a woman working undercover at a pork facility, she got undercover video of how the pigs are led to gas chambers and how the process looks.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to watch. And she was really brave to release it.
Yes.
If you're interested in how that process works, you can definitely Google that and watch it if you can.
Yeah. You sent that to me, didn't you?
I may have.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I couldn't
chose not to watch it.
Well, I tried, and then I couldn't quite get through it. It's kind of like, you know, the first 7 minutes of Dominion. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
And even that, I struggle to make
and
it through the first 7 minutes.
We're not the people that need to see that.
No, we're not.
People consuming the animals are the people that need to see that.
Yeah.
to just open your eyes to what it really takes for a living, sentient being to go from living a life to ending up in a grocery store.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So yeah. So if you have compassion and empathy for those who are stuck doing the work to slaughter these animals, there's just another reason.
Yeah,
to
definitely
cease your consumption.
Please cease and desist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And on that note, I think we're going to move to housekeeping.
Yeah, let's talk about something a little lighter.
Yeah, we're going to keep this one a little on the shorter side. Housekeeping. Hey, we're still running our Food Not Bombs fundraiser at our Buy Me a Coffee, and that's at buymeacoffee.com/cucumbers,
Sure is.
Of all things.
Really? Cucumbers?
Food Not Bombs is an organization that provides vegan meals to people in need, and we're fundraising for the Buffalo chapter.
We sure are.
Yep.
If you'd like to support the podcast, you can join our Patreon. We have 3 levels of support, each of which come with their own special bonuses, including early access bonus episodes and some pretty awesome Compassion and Cucumbers merch.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to offer some vlog stuff too. So if you're interested in some things that happen in our life and what it looks like while we're doing them, there you go. Shoot us a couple
because
bucks.
We are just that interesting.
Yeah. And any money that we earn through our Patreon will be used to improve the show.
Yes.
So
of
we
course.
can reach more people like you.
Absolutely.
Hey, leave us a review on your podcast app if it lets you. And if you don't mind, leave us some 5 stars. I like the 5 stars.
She does.
Yeah.
Also, share the show with a friend or family member that you think would enjoy what we do. It's the best way you can support any content creator, and it costs you nothing at all.
Yeah, and share our social media. Like, comment, share, do all that jazz.
Absolutely.
So we can beat the nasty algorithms.
Yes. And also just, it shows your support for the awesome work that Christine does on our social media.
Yeah, there's that too.
And last but not least, if you are interested, please join the AFA Vegan Voter Hub. Okay, this is a wonderful service provided by the Agriculture Fairness Alliance. It allows them to kind of track the vegan voters all over the country so that Connie Spence and the team at AFA can head to Washington and advocate on our behalf as we move towards a new legislative session and the new farm bill.
Yeah.
Not Farmville.
Yeah, and Connie and her team was just in D.C. and may still be in D.C. meeting with folks at the USDA. So,
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
Very cool.
So that is moving along. So yeah, definitely join the Vegan Voter Hub at the AFA website. And I think that's it for housekeeping.
I think that does kind of wrap things up.
You have nothing else to say?
I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, so this is a short one. Comparably speaking, last week was long because I rambled.
You did.
Yeah, I rambled on, and I even edited out
Yeah.
a good amount of
You
rambling.
edited out the worst of the rambling.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't know what
but
got...
some of it still stayed,
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, sometimes you got to ramble.
Rambling happens.
Ramble on,
It's not a problem.
like the song says.
That's right.
All right. Well, that's it. You've just listened to episode 71 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast and spent the last 32 minutes and 23 seconds of your life with us.
Although that's not what it'll be by the time it's edited.
You never know.
Okay.
All right. Well, we will talk to you next Tuesday,
We sure will.
and I hope you all have a great week.
Yep.
We love you.
We sure do.
Bye. Do you want to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast? Well, you can do that by joining our Patreon page. We have 3 different levels of support, and all 3 come with their own special bonuses. Hey, you can support the podcast and get yourself some really cool merch. All the links and deets are in the show notes. We'll catch you next week on the next episode of Compassion and Cucumbers.